Welcome back, everybody, to the Two Birds and a Third Football podcast. We got a full house here tonight. We got a lot to talk about. We got to get straight in. So, first of all, we do have a sponsor for tonight. The sponsor for tonight is State Farm, but I've been receiving words that the discount double check does not cover pre-existing conditions. So, anywho, let's get straight to it.
I'm ready.
Yep.
What do you guys want to start with?
Well, let's
start with the biggest topic in Aaron Rodgers?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it.
Yep.
Hank, what do you think this means for the NFC North? What direction do you think it's going to go? Can the Packers hold on to the reins, or do you think another team's going to take control?
I think this gives a chance for Minnesota, and the number of problems that even though Minnesota is having a lot of problems, I think that it is possible that they can win this division with their defense. And Case Keenum, he's no superstar, but he's still playing like he's still managing the game like a backup.
He's getting.
I like Brent Hundley. I wasn't so high on him coming out of UCLA because he's your prototypical running quarterback, run first quarterback, and that was the point in time where people weren't really trusting run first quarterbacks. But I've actually seen him play in the preseason, and he hasn't been really that bad. A lot of receivers dropping his passes have been the real problem with his overall gameplay. But as long as he limits the mistakes, I think that they can. What did he say? Run the tables. They're still first place in the division, and I just
no, they're not.
Tied for first place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, tied for first place in the division. I mean, it's tough to play Minnesota against their defense, so I don't really fault him for losing the way he did.
Okay.
Ricky, what about you? Do you not care about the Aaron Rodgers Packers?
I'll be honest. I think that the Packers are screwed. Let's be honest. They're not gonna. Okay, listen. Let me tell you something. I'm not saying that it's completely over, okay? Because we've seen in 2013, he comes back and he ends up leading the Packers to the playoffs. So again, anything's possible.
He's out for the remainder of the season, though.
Yeah. Wait, is he right? Because he had surgery. It wasn't like he's naturally here.
Can he come back for the playoffs?
If they make it.
Think so.
Usually, a broken bone takes about 6 weeks to heal.
If
there's no ligament or muscle damage, and it's just the bone that's broken, then he can come back in 6 weeks.
It's reported that he's out for the season.
It's an 8 to 9 week. It's an 8 to 9 week injury. When we would go to Tommy's, there was this guy who was I don't know if he was an orthopedist, but I would talk to him a lot, and he would when Nick Foles got injured, when he broke his collarbone, he was like, yeah, that's an 8 to 9 week injury. Well, Nick Foles never actually ended up playing another down for the Eagles, but I would think that if he could, he would,
Yeah, but I mean,
if you can, you do. If you can, you come back. Or, I would if I was Aaron Rodgers. Depending on where the team stands.
Unless injured reserve means that he can't go, he can't even go to the playoffs. If being out for the season is out for the whole entire season, even the extended postseason.
Yeah, but right, look at their schedule.
IR to return, and he came back. Remember when he tore his triceps, and they thought he was going to be out for the whole year, and he came back?
Aaron Rodgers?
No, I said Ray Lewis when he tore his tricep.
Yeah, Ray Lewis.
But he did it in the middle of the season, and they were saying that that's season ending. It
was the same with Terrell Suggs. He tore his ACL, and he came back mid-season, I believe.
It's those great steroids they have in Baltimore. Fantastic.
But I will say this: looking at the Packers schedule,
is that deer antler spray? Is that what he's using?
Looking at
Sorry, Ricky. Go ahead, Ricky.
No, that's fine. No, you're good. Looking at this schedule, look. So I'm gonna just stay off the assumption that they're sticking with Brett Hundley. So they go up against the New Orleans Saints team at home. They go up against the Detroit Lions at home, and then Chicago. So look, I will say this: if the Packers are sitting at like, I don't know, let's be very generous. If they're sitting at like 7, I don't know when he's coming back. Let's just say he comes back week 16. I don't know. Let's be super optimistic. And they're sitting at like, I don't know, 8-6 or 9-5 or something around those lines. Then if you're on a playoff berth on the line, be my guest and rush him back. But I personally think, look, Aaron Rodgers is going to be 34 years old this year, and he's not getting any younger. Once you start getting surgery, that's not a really good sign for a player. And I'm not saying he's going to regress by any means. It's just that,
Yeah, but it was surgery to a bone. I will say that.
What, do you think he's going to be the next Tony Romo?
It depends.
What happens if Brett Hundley leads them to like 10 straight wins?
He doesn't pull the Tom Brady.
You're gonna Dak Prescott.
What if he leads them to 10 straight wins and they go to the playoffs and they go deep into the playoffs? What happens?
What happens if he doesn't even get him 10 straight wins? But what happens if he goes 8 for 10 and they make the playoffs?
Is Chase Hundley the new Kaepernick?
I don't know, but they might have to make a decision on Aaron Rodgers, in which, it's going to be Aaron Rodgers who needs to relax.
Oh wow!
Yeah, relax.
So punny.
Okay. I think it's gonna. Well, here one more quick follow-up question for this. If the Packers don't win it without Aaron Rodgers, who is now the front runner to win this division?
Vikings.
Bears.
No, the Vikings.
What if the Bears do it, man?
No, the Bears.
What if they do it?
They're not, dude. The Vikings. They have the talent there. They're getting Teddy Bridgewater back soon.
Worst part about this is that the Detroit Lions are sitting so pretty right now with all three teams just being decimated either by
with
injury,
quarterbacks,
and they still can't seem to win. It's so
the thing about the
Browns
Bears
lose, they lose. These guys can't decide if they want to win or lose. So they're just. I feel like they're worse.
The issue with the Bears right now is that both of their wins come from the AFC, so it leaves them with 4 losses and 2 losses in the division. So they're basically gonna have to win the rest of their games in order to go to go. They're gonna at least have to win all their NFC games, because AFC interconference games are basically meaningless when it comes to the playoffs. Because they rarely ever go to those AFC teams.
Alrighty.
Do you guys want to move on?
Should we move
to
on
the next one?
Yeah, let's go ahead and move on.
Let's go ahead and move on to Zeke.
Let's keep this gravy train rolling.
All right, so
Vicky, I was just going to ask you, what's the best case scenario for you being a Cowboys fan?
I'll be honest. This case is really, really starting to intrigue me, and it's weird.
Oh,
so
now.
No,
I think he always won.
No. No. Let me explain. So, look. So the first TRO, I think a lot of us were going to be like, yeah, he's probably going to get it. And then, I guess the Fifth Court of Appeals, I guess you could say that could have been coming. But what I think is very irking to me is the fact that he gets a second TRO. So now I'm very intrigued on, is the league actually being credible with their suspension? Because normally if the first TRO is invalidated, you're normally not going to get another one. And considering this was in the state of New York, where the NFL is headquartered at, it's just very weird. But
are you putting your tinfoil hat on right now, Mr. Conspiracy?
No. Yeah, you are.
No,
I'm not. It's an inside job. That's what it is. No, I'm playing. Okay, but let's just look at football. Okay, clearly the Cowboys. It's interesting because I'm starting to see, like, I think in the Packers game, you kind of started to see Zeke get a bit of his former self. So it's just going to be interesting to see how he comes out after the bye week. I still don't think he's his former self. I think that he's going to be, he looks taxed on this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if the following year he comes back with a vengeance.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot right now that Zeke is he doesn't really know how to feel about his season because he never doesn't know if he's going to play one week or not play the other week. And that being said, I mean, it's mentally that's got to be draining. And you could already see him fourth game into the season sitting on the bench, just kind of not like physically tired, but it just seemed like his mind really wasn't on the game. And I think you're kind of seeing a little bit of the effects of that.
Well, remember, he's young.
I know. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
No, I know you're just saying.
I'm just saying that he's young. It's his second year in the NFL, and mentally, think about, like you just said, what he's going through. Would it have been better for him to just try to reduce it to a 4-game? Because by now it would have been over.
Yeah,
the suspension would have been served.
Take the Tom Brady.
But now here, my buddy Wes, who's a Titans fan. He is completely adamant that Zeke should have just taken it because now what's going to happen is he thinks he's going to ruin the end of the season. So even if they are still in the contention right now, if he gets it all taken away, then you end your season with him gone.
I will say this: Zeke, Zeke spoke about it. He said that it's more about clearing his name because he doesn't want to be labeled as an abuser. I completely understand where he's coming from because it's like you don't want to, like, being labeled as someone who beats women is not a joke. And the fact of the matter is, and I'm not trying to take this in a laughingly way, but it's just it's very embarrassing the way the league has handled this because it's not like there's conclusive evidence that said Zeke had done this. You know what I mean? Like if there was conclusive evidence that said Zeke did this, then they just gave him the 6 games, I'd be like, man, you're so lucky. You should have been suspended for a whole year.
Exactly. Because I think the NFL, here's the thing with the NFL right now. They don't know how to handle anything that comes to being in the spotlight besides the actual plays happening during the game. They don't know how to handle the domestic abuse problem in the NFL. They're so wishy-washy with their suspensions, and like Ray Rice is blackballed from the league, but then you see Greg Hardy and teams just giving him a shot. And then you see Josh Brown who had evidence of it, and they still almost only gave him 1-game suspension until everyone was like, what the hell are you doing?
Kicker John Brown from New York Giants.
That's what I just said.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear the name.
Well, sit
next to me
with the whole Greg Hardy thing. Didn't she say that? Wasn't it one of those cases? I mean, I'm not saying that it was right, but wasn't it one of those cases where they made a deal where she was going to say that he didn't do anything for like money or something like that. And then pictures were eventually leaked of it. And then with the Josh Brown thing, I know he was suspended for 1 game, but he was, I'm not defending him because he's a complete scumbag and the way the league handled the whole thing. Like, they suspended him for 1 game, then the Giants cut him and then nobody signed him. And then he was finally suspended for 16 games this year, even though nobody had signed him,
Mm-hmm.
It's again, I agree with Josh when he says it's wishy-washy, but it's a different case in this point because Greg Hardy's ex-girlfriend never pressed charges,
Yeah, and here's the quote. He says, "When you get accused of something of that magnitude, you kind of get labeled as an abuser, and that's just not me. That's not how I want to be seen or how I want to represent my family. It's just important for me to fight." And I'll be honest, what I'm very upset about is the fact that when the league doesn't look at the repercussions of a suspension in terms of innocent people, because Zeke has no incriminating.
Now, what What if somebody else's girlfriend uses it as leverage against them, like another NFL player?
Well, we all know why this is happening, though. It's because of Ray Rice. The whole incident when it all got blown out of the water, and all of a sudden, all these victims came out of the woodworks, and it was just showing how many cover-ups that happened. They're literally just saying if there's any mention about any type of violence or domestic,
it's not about
mention.
It's not about the Ray Rice thing specifically. It's about how the NFL handled the Ray Rice thing. Because originally they suspended him for 2 games, and then TMZ releases the elevator video, and Roger Goodell goes, "Oh, I didn't see it." But if he didn't see it, then he's the dumbest person on the planet because he has the chance to gain those records. And then when he finally saw it, he was like, okay, well, there's egg on my face, so I have to suspend Ray Rice for the rest of the regular season. Then the NFL goes on a campaign saying, never again, never beating women again. You can say no. You don't
unless you're Greg Hardy or Josh Brown or all these other guys who are getting caught doing it.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then basically the NFL owners prove that they don't care if you abuse women. As long as you're a good player. Because we all know that Ray Rice's last season, he had like 815. He had a really bad season in 2013.
Ray Rice?
Yeah, Ray Rice. He had a really bad season. So,
but now imagine if that was, I don't know, I'm trying to think of, imagine if it came out and it was like, well, it's happening right now. Ezekiel Elliott.
Exactly.
Imagine what would happen. The NFL doesn't know how to react, even though, aren't they saying, like, straight up in a court of law that he's not guilty of anything? Like, he was never actually charged with abuse?
This is what was said. The lead investigator, she's the only one to have interviewed the actual quote-unquote victim, and she said that the victim... Yet the NFL just told her to be quiet, and they still suspended Zeke. All I'm going to say is this before, and I think we should move on. All I'm going to say is this: is the fact of the matter is that if the facts of the matter of Zeke getting a second TRO shows you something's up, and I think that shows you how credible the league is. And what I mean by credible, I mean by nothing. They are not credible with this suspension by any means. And considering he got a second TRO goes to show that.
Yep.
Okay.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's move on. What's our next subject, guys?
The Eagles.
Oh, are they for real?
I hope they are.
Are they for real?
Hank doesn't like that.
They're a real thing.
Well, right here tonight, Hank, we're gonna make you say if they're for real or for not. All right, you're gonna have to make a statement. No more on this fence stuff. You guys just go.
Or should I?
I said I hope they're for real. Because I just fear in the I've been an Eagles fan for a long time, obviously. I've seen a lot of stuff. I've seen this team have like a really good I've seen this team go from being 7-0 to being 7-9. Okay? I just in the back of my head, I fear that this team is going to doubt their opponents, like the Broncos doubted the Giants, like many other teams doubt lesser teams, and they're just going to fall flat. Now, I don't care if, like, a division opponent, I don't really care that much. If we lose to a division opponent, I don't really care that much about that. But if we were to lose to a team like the 49ers, I would be so pissed. But defensively, when it comes to stopping the run, this team is really, really good. And Carson Wentz, I mean, it seems like in the offseason he really worked on his mechanics, and he's looking a whole lot better than he did in 2016.
He's looking more confident.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Way more confident. This team is doing better in the red zone. My only fear is Doug Peterson, and that's always been my fear. A lot of Eagles fans don't like to hear me talk about Doug Peterson and the play calling, but I don't in certain cases I don't understand how you shelf LeGarrette Blount during a game in the fourth quarter where LeGarrette Blount should be getting the ball. I for the life of me I don't understand. you have a 28-16 lead or something like that. I think that's what we had, and you aren't running the football. You have a drive where you go drive where you go 3 and out in your own territory. You call 3 straight passing plays. I understand. Maybe it's because I expect perfection out of Doug Peterson. Maybe that's the thing, because I know that every head coach makes play calling mistakes. I just fear that he's going to do something stupid and
run more screenplays.
Yeah, exactly. Running plays that go east and west when you should be running plays that go north and south. And
especially with LeGarrette Blount. I mean, you guys picked him up to do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not especially him. I mean, he's done a good, in the plays where LeGarrette Blount's been on the field, he's done well, calling those types of plays. It's just we don't do well with screen passes because they take a long time to develop. I'm happy about where they're at right now, but of course, from last year and 2014, I'm very cautiously optimistic. I'm excited about what's in store for this team, but I'm cautiously optimistic because I've seen this before, and I'm preparing myself for a possible meltdown.
Yeah, so I want to bring up sorry to cut you off, but I want to bring up a point. So during the Monday night game, Colts versus Titans.
Yeah.
One of the announcers made a mistake saying that in 2014 the Eagles made the playoffs after starting 5-1, which
I did hear that. Yeah.
Which that is incorrect for those that don't know, and I'm not trying to just rub this in Hank's face, but it's true.
We didn't
make the Eagles started out phenomenal. They were sitting at 5-1, but then they went to 7-2, then 9-3, and ended up falling apart at the end.
Yeah.
And
really the only reason why we didn't go to the playoffs that year was because we didn't have the Lions went 11-5, but we also didn't have we had a good record against. Here's a prime example. We had a great record against the AFC, and we had a really bad record we had a worse record against the NFC, and the Lions had a better they didn't I don't think they won a single game against the AFC that year. So that just goes to show that it's more important to win your conference games than it is to win interconference games. But I'm don't get me wrong, I'm excited, and you guys will be excited for what my prediction will be about my team this week, but still a tough game. They still have a tough road ahead of them, and there's very little margin for error, especially with the fact that I think that Dallas and Washington have gas in the tank. And that's my piece.
I think both those. Yeah, I think even with all the Zeke stuff going on, I still think that division is going to be a tough division that's fought down to the end. But Hank, you guys have played exceptionally well this year. I have watched every single Eagles game.
Mm-hmm.
And come down and watch them with me, so I have to have you there in spirit.
I know.
And I've watched every single Eagles game, and you guys look good. You guys have a really, really great run defense, but I do understand your concerns with the play calling. I 100% see that, and sometimes when I'm watching those games, I think the exact same thing to myself. I'm like, what are you doing?
I know.
Run the ball. I mean, Hank, you've been around me enough to know I get mad at everybody who doesn't run the ball because that's what you need to do. You need to run the football in certain situations.
It's the most important thing, and apparently Deuce Staley, who's a former great alumni for the Philadelphia Eagles, he's in charge. He's a running back coach, but he's in charge of running back personnel during the plays. And I've seen recently that he just does a really bad job putting the right guy in the position during the game. And I'm like, Doug, he isn't doing a good job with. I know this is an unpopular thing to say because Deuce Staley is such a popular player in Eagles history, but if he's not doing the job, you take it away from him. Deuce Staley currently has more power on this team than our own offensive coordinator has. Which our offensive coordinator, Frank Reich, he doesn't even call the plays. I'm someone who firmly believes that the coach game manages, the coordinators call the plays, and if the coordinators aren't able to do that, then you strip that away from them and you fire them at the end of the season. Because otherwise, what's the point of having them if they're not even calling the plays? I see absolutely no point. Yes.
Hank, that perfectly segues into what I wanted to talk about with my team, if you don't mind.
No, that's cool.
I hate Marty Morningweg.
So do I.
I hate him. I hate Marty, dude. I'm watching them play, and I'm my dad says I'm the biggest Joe Flacco supporter, but it's not that I necessarily support him, but I remember there was a long stretch where people made fun of Alex Smith because he went through a bunch of offensive coordinators. They didn't have a good coach for him, and he didn't have a good system around him. Yeah. But look what happens when you get put in the right situation. I think Joe Flacco has been put through the same kind of struggle. And I think right now it falls on Marty. They're not using the deep pass as much, which I'm sorry, but if your quarterback can throw the ball 70 yards, just standing there, throw the ball deep.
Yeah.
Throw the ball deep. And every week, week in and week out, I'm seeing rollouts to the flat. I'm watching these plays that are drawn up, and I'm like, is this Pop Warner? You're literally running like heavy tight end set with just one wide receiver on each side and a single back, and then you're having both the wide receivers, one run a streak, one run a post, and then that's it. Most basic play calling I've ever seen, and it's nothing intimidating. Nothing.
So what was I gonna say? I remember when Marty Morningweg was I'm trying to find the quote when he was the offensive coordinator for the Jets. He basically came out and said the reason I don't have the exact quote in front of me because I forget if he said it in 2013 or in 2014. But he basically said the reason why we don't have a good running game is because we're losing in the fourth quarter. So like we don't have time to run the football. But like you look at his first half statistics and it's like, oh, you had 10 or 11 running plays in the first half, so you basically didn't even try. You know?
Right? Exactly. He's always saying that, like, oh, well, we had to abandon the run game because we were playing from behind. Even when you're not playing from behind, they don't run the ball. Or if you're playing from one score down, run the ball. Run the ball. Don't automatically think we need to score on the first play, the next drive, the second play, the next drive, and then waste 3 downs throwing the ball, going 3 and out, and punting it back with even better field position.
Well, I mean, I think a good question for you, Josh, would be: do you make a move in the middle of the season?
We did it the year we won the Super Bowl.
Who on your staff could replace him? Is the question.
What was that?
Who on your staff has the necessary experience to replace him? Like we all remember, and it didn't save their season at the time, but we all remember the Lions fired their offensive coordinator and promoted Jim Bob Cooter, who's got the greatest name in the history of the world. And he helped the 2016 Lions be relatively successful. Is there anyone on the Ravens who has the necessary traits to become the offensive coordinator for like a mid-season thing? Like
we have Greg Roman. That's about it.
You might as well have nobody then.
Look, me personally, I think. Oh, sorry. I need to get this out here. I think you guys are being way too hard on Marty Morningweg. The guy is an Arena Bowl champion. and he is just no, I'm kidding.
I mean, looking at your staff, you do have Greg Roman, but I mean, you could hire someone from the outside, but I mean, I like Bobby Ingram for the possible future because I like him as a wide receivers coach, but Bobby Ingram is not ready to be an offensive coordinator. You know?
No. I think we're just kind of screwed. I think we honestly just kind of need to tell Marty, like, you need to figure it out with this offense, like right now, because Joe Flacco is putting the ball where it needs to be when he can. I mean, I know we're decimated by injuries and stuff like that, and everyone will say, oh, well, he threw 2 interceptions last week. Yeah, that went right through the hands of both his receivers and then bounced off of their chests into the other players. So
that's why I kind of think those are asterisks.
Here's a question, Josh. What happened to Wilbert Montgomery?
Anything's better than Marty at this point. No, and Hank, you warned me about this. You said Marty sucks.
No, I know, but what happened? Wasn't Wilbert Montgomery your running backs coach? Did he like retire or something?
I can't remember.
Okay. Yeah, like you're just gonna have to wait the season out, because I mean, if you have a bad enough record, then he will get fired. I mean, I understand. Like we all know the reason why. We all know the reason why he's on your squad. It's because he's got connections with John Harbaugh, and one of the biggest issues when it comes to football is nepotism and like promoting your friends to certain positions, and that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah. And I think another big reason they kept him was because I think they're tired of the revolving door. Like Joe Flacco has literally had a different offensive coordinator almost every single year of his career. Yeah. It's surprising he's ever done anything. Like legitimately, it's amazing that he even has wins on his record, because he went through the exact same thing as Alex Smith did. And Alex Smith wasn't a winner during those years, you know?
Yeah.
You gotta trade Joe Flacco, who'll instantly become a star. And
you've also, like, the only thing that I can really blame Joe Flacco for is
anyways, moving on to the Browns
contract. But I'm gonna move on to the Browns.
Great segue.
Move on to what? Yeah, I mean, there is no segue that you can really have unless you're talking about crap, and then.
I was gonna say, I had to take out the trash, so let's talk about the Browns.
I will have to say this, and this might be a little nasty, but I did drop the Browns off at the Super Bowl today. Twice.
We're supposed to have highbrow comedy here, Hank. Okay, not lowbrow.
Yeah,
okay?
I
don't know what that means. I hang out with teenagers every day.
Did they mess with you, Hank? They made when you said shit, and they made you like give a bunch of money already.
No, that's my rule.
Oh,
my rule is if a student curses in class, because they're not allowed to curse. I'm supposed to give them a referral if they do. But if they curse in class,
you give them that referral, don't you?
No. No, because this actually works, and I've seen this work with a few students. If they curse, then they have to write 10 words down that they could have used that were better than the word that they just used, and they can't use the same word in a different language. And then if they do it again, they get a referral. I thought I said shh. But they said they heard an IT at the very end, and I like the whole class said I did it. So I did 10 jump clap push-ups. I got a workout in, and then I wrote 20 words. You do, Hank. I wrote 20 words.
All those poor children, their innocence has gone away because of you. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, now talking about the Browns. Look, as an outsider's perspective, I'll be honest, this team is just, what is going on? Like, look, I gotta give Deshaun Kaiser a pass because I feel bad for him, because it's like he can only work with so many weapons. I'm not trying to say certain players on the Browns are horrible, but it's just like as a quarterback, right? What are you gonna do? Throw it to Kenny Britt, the guy that pretty much got overpaid by the Browns and he can't catch, any like a friggin' brick.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I feel like, honestly, like, it just seems I can't even laugh at the Browns because they're like,
it's like it makes
they're like somebody
it's depressing.
They're like somebody who is like not like disabled, but like someone who tries to do something many times and just continuously fails. It's just not funny. It's NFL memes can make fun of them however much they want, but it's just really not that funny to me anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of just like torture at this point.
Yeah, it's like
why would you want to put someone on the death penalty? Just make him be a Browns fan.
Yeah.
DJ, what do you have to say about the team?
What do I have to say about my team? It's great that you guys have such a grasp on just making fun of.
I don't.
I'm not saying you, but I'm just saying this in a good way. You guys can be so negative about my Browns that it doesn't. I don't have to be negative. You've done that for me, so now I can just talk positive things. And I have some positive.
Is there anything positive that you have to say about the Browns?
Yes, I got Duke Johnson Jr., David Njoku. Offensive line is still protecting. It's just our quarterback and receivers. That's our issue. And then what happens is we just go 3 and out, and our defense is on the field way too long. Yeah. So that's what we're dealing with right now. When your defense is on the field,
I just feel like the Browns have tried. The Browns have tried everything. The Browns have tried drafting quarterbacks early. They've tried trading picks for more draft picks. They've tried
defensive players. They've tried running backs.
Exactly. They've brought in some of the greatest minds in NFL history. Mike Holmgren, Hugh Jackson, Mike Pettin, who was an established defensive coordinator with the Buffalo Bills at one point.
Does Mike Pettin still have a job?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's a janitor at my school.
Kyle Shanahan. They brought in Kyle Shanahan. They've had success with certain players at certain times. It just seems like now they're not trying to draft rookie quarterbacks in the first round and trying to bring in veterans, and that didn't work. And now the issue with the Browns right now. And I feel like this has always been an issue with the Browns, even from like the Lerner days. It feels like
they're still looking.
It feels like there's nobody who's willing to listen to actual reason. There's no one in there who's like, okay, well, these people are set in their ways. They're set in their ways, and they're not going to change. They're not going to change the way they think. And
but the thing is, the Browns are the epitome of change. They change coaches every 2 years.
No, I know I know that, but they're not willing. One of the things that I've always said about the Browns is they always try to do something. They should just do the opposite of what they think, and they might get it right.
Do you know how confusing that becomes, and how much you have to question your own existence and mental capability at that point?
I know.
At this point, running the Browns, in order to run the Browns, you need to learn how quantum mechanics work.
Right.
It's like becomes so freaking complicated.
And
it's like
the issue is that Hugh Jackson, DJ knows, I wanted Hugh Jackson before I even knew how to spell his name correctly. I wanted him over everybody, over Adam Gase, over all the head coaches that were signed in 2016, because I looked at him and I was like, dude, this guy can make the Raiders 8-8. Like, there aren't very many head coaches who have been able to do that. But and when we got Doug Peterson, I was like, oh, well, we just got another retread head coach or retread coach that's been a part of this organization. But like, looking at Hugh Jackson and the mistakes that he's made, it's like, here's the question. And I'm not saying that Carson Wentz is going to be an amazing franchise quarterback. But, like, if he does, dude, that guy's got a ton of egg on his face. Hugh Jackson has got a ton of egg on his face for coming out and saying that he's not a top 20 quarterback. And it just seems to me that that the Browns are at the point in time where like they're not willing to draft a quarterback high because that never works for them. It's always like,
well, dude, do you know how I feel right now? I love that I have Myles Garrett. I think Myles Garrett is just going to be a freaking beast as long as he stays healthy.
But you would have, but you would have had Myles Garrett regardless of the trade.
I understand that, but what I'm talking about is the past 2 drafts when we lost on Trubisky, which was last year, and we lost on Wentz. I told you about Wentz a long time before even that draft started, and I wanted him. I wanted him on the team. Josh knows it.
No, yeah, I know.
Hank, I've told him. And how much I coveted him, and to see him blossom like that, but you know what? It just kind of brings it all back to me, just to understand that even if he was drafted by the Browns, he might not be what he is today.
Yeah,
Browns.
That's something that a lot of people don't take into consideration. Well, that's the problem.
That's why I don't laugh about the Browns. That's why I think that the whole situation is just like. It's like a bad dream. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's a like bad dream. Nightmare. It's actually true.
And like I don't. That's why.
We don't even make the playoffs when we have a good enough record to make the playoffs. 2007 Browns lost to it by a tie for the Titans to get into the playoffs. They still couldn't get into the playoffs.
Yeah, they were what 11-5, 10-6,
10-6.
Yeah, you can blame
best record since we came back.
You can blame the Indianapolis Colts for not starting. For starting Jim Sorgi during that game. But
anyways, okay, so this is my takeaway from the Browns here.
They suck. End of deal.
Yeah, but you know what? Don Kaiser, we're going to start him again. I think that this was a ploy by Hugh because let's just say this. If Houston destroyed Deshaun Kaiser, his confidence is shot. He threw Kevin Hogan out to the Wolves against the Houston Texans. And he took the shots for Kaiser, and then Kaiser got to sit and learn from the bench a little bit. But that was just all to save Kaiser from the Houston Texans defense.
Well, no, but here's the thing. But here's the thing. The reason why Kaiser is starting right now is because Hogan got injured. I don't think if Hogan gets injured...
They're saying it's a rib, but I mean... I don't know.
With a rib injury,
I don't know.
You shouldn't play unless your name is Tony Romo. Let's be honest here.
Look. We all know that's why.
I don't think Kevin Hogan's the answer. I think that Kevin Hogan could just be there and then let Deshaun learn from the bench. But you know, I'm just gonna hope for 2 wins this year. That's all I'm going for.
I mean, we can all play like
I'm at that point now.
We can all play armchair or sofa head coach or Monday morning head coach and Monday morning general manager all we want. Whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen, and we have absolutely no say over it. I just think that
it's easy for you to say Mr. 5-1.
I just think that if your philosophy is starting a guy as soon as humanly possible. And I don't think it's right to bench. I don't feel like it's right to bench a rookie because he's playing bad. I mean, he's a freaking rookie. Like,
no, I understand that, but the thing is, when Kevin Hogan went in, he scored touchdowns. We moved on the offense.
Yeah,
that's why there's a little bit more push.
The Browns aren't trying to get wins this season. At this point, they're trying to get experience.
Yeah. You guys didn't win a single game. Like here's the thing, Hank. I understand benching him to see what could happen. It was kind of like that turning point. So I understand putting Hogan in to see what would happen. But Hogan didn't work out either. But I mean, also it's kind of the best defense. But I was about to say you're going against
Houston.
Not just the best defense, but a defense less J.J. Watt and Whitney Merciless.
Can you imagine what they would have done if they were there and healthy?
They have Deshaun Watson now, and they look like a very, very strong team.
That one's just a shot to the heart.
But at the same time, putting Hogan if you're coming out and saying, okay, Kaiser is the guy we're gonna play for the rest of this. He's starting week 1. You're guessing he's gonna start for the rest of the regular season, and then you pull him out. You're basically saying, well, psych.
I don't think you need to take this pull out. Huh? So she said, take this very.
Hey, highbrow, dude.
We already went lowbrow, so we might as well stay down there for this episode, right? Anyways, I feel that you don't need to take the benching of DeShone Kizer too seriously. And I think Deshaun understands that too, that it's going to be a long freaking season. And a lot of fans in Cleveland are idiotic. So there's a lot of heat right now on just because a lot of people are saying a bunch of stuff, saying fire.
But my question is, let's say Hogan doesn't get injured. Does he play this week?
I think because we need to get a win, and Hugh needs a win really, really, really badly because he's only had one win as a Browns head coach in the past 22 games. So, it's not like it's just that blaring stat right there just makes you feel. I understand this, but there's crazy people, crazy fans in Cleveland that believe that this needs to leave. Just everything needs to stop here.
Can I have a question? I have a question for you guys though, because I was just realizing it. Hugh Jackson's flow?
No,
because their offense doesn't look inept. It looks like certain players are. Like you're turning the ball over at the worst possible time. It's just. I don't think it's necessarily Hugh. It's just
I understand that, but a lot of normal people who have a normal head on their shoulders. I don't know. I think I've looked into too many social media accounts for the Browns.
I think the Browns, in my personal opinion, I think the Browns need to start working on offense because if you are sincerely thinking that DeShone Kizer is your guy for the future, no ifs, ands, or buts. This next draft has to be completely offensive oriented. You got to get. I would say if you're, whatever.
I mean, in a situation you could get Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, get the GOAT.
You could get the GOAT. You can get the GOAT. You can get.
Well, no, but you don't draft a running back first overall. You don't do that.
Unless it's Zeke.
That's got to be a cardinal sin.
Okay, but I think we should move on to the Raiders so we can get into our picks so we can wrap this up.
Oh, the Raiders! What can we go on about the most disappointing team in the AFC?
I can just tell you this. I can tell you this.
Are you a Marshawn?
You mean
Titans fan?
No. Hold on, let me explain myself.
Hey, DJ.
DJ just said the Raiders are the most disappointing team in the AFC.
No. Time out. I personally think the Raiders are disappointing. Unfortunately, it's because not the most disappointing. They're disappointing because of one person, Marshawn Lynch. Plain and simple.
No, whoa. No, it's not. No. Okay, in what sense? In what sense, Ricky? In what sense, Ricky?
In the sense that, okay, let's look at the stats if I can pull it up because I love how the freaking stats don't want to be up on my screen at the moment. Oh my god!
An opportune moment, right?
No. No, but this is the issue. I feel as if, well, number one, the offensive line's one issue, but with Marshawn Lynch, I feel like the Raiders, the way that the offensive line is set up, I don't think Marshawn Lynch is a compatible player per se because of that locker room. And I'm not trying to say Marshawn Lynch is horrible or any other of his accomplishments are done. I just feel like bringing him out of retirement was a mistake for the Raiders because I feel like Latavius Murray could have been somewhat of a better back, in my opinion.
I will counter that with I don't think Marshawn's the mistake. I think firing Bill Musgrave is the mistake. This offense, Sands, Marshawn or not, I don't care what back you have back there because no one looks good on this offense right now. I don't think it's Marshawn's fault at all. I think it's the fact that they fired Musgrave and they thought all these good players on our team, but as we just talked about, ask the Browns how a bunch of good players on one team looks when you don't have the coordination or the cohesiveness.
And here's the craziest part about the whole Marshawn thing, to piggyback on what both of you guys are saying. There's a theory going around right now that the coaching staff could be not afraid, but a little just more appeasing towards Marshawn, and that's not sitting well with a lot of people. So again, this is what's going to happen when you lose.
I think
rumors and everything
I personally think they brought Carr back too early last week.
I don't think that this Todd Downey situation is the thing that's not working out right now. I don't think the whole Bill Musgrave firing that was one guy that actually gave he actually gave a little bit of sass back to Derek Carr. Like, it was like, listen, I'm the coordinator. You're the quarterback. Listen to me. With Todd Downing, he's 37 years old. He's a young coach. Buddy type stuff. I don't know. It could work out, but it's not working out right now. And this is what's going to happen when you're 2-4.
Well, and you bring up a huge point about the firing of Bill Musgrave, because Derek Carr had, what was it, like 2015 he did relatively decent, and then 2016 he has this amazing year, as well as the
Well, it's also
guys, I gotta bring something up. On the Wikipedia page, they changed the name of the Oakland Raiders to the Kansas City Chiefs' ugly stepsister.
Ooh.
Swear to God.
Wow.
Wikipedia.
Wow.
Wikipedia. By the way, don't cite your papers using Wikipedia. Do not.
No. I know it's a joke.
But I like it. The other issue is that their wide receivers are vastly underperforming this season, especially Amari Cooper.
Well, and isn't it a coach's fault to get your players involved?
It is,
and especially star players. Get them the ball.
It is,
when you look at Amari
but he's dropping.
And I know they're like, oh, well, we'll give it to him when he's open, but at the same time, we'll make a play to get him open then.
Yeah.
Or take a shot at it.
Yeah.
Get the ball in your good player's hands.
Yeah. I agree with that, but the issue with Amari Cooper is that he's had the case of the drops. And I'm not just I've only seen 1 or 2 Raiders games in full, but in both of those games Amari Cooper was just dropping passes left and right. And you can't do that when you've been excelling the last 2 seasons. It's like when I draft when I draft a fantasy football player who's done good the season before, they either get injured or they can't catch a pass. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I should stop playing fantasy football.
Maybe you should just stop because you're 0-6 and you...
Hank, no, this is Hank's one bad year.
Actually 2, and the other year was the one where I did really, really bad because I drafted... Who did I draft? I think I drafted Marshawn Lynch first, and then I ended up playing 3 consolation playoff games against Tomei and beating him all 3 times.
Okay, I think we are ready to move on to picks. If we have nothing else to talk. Oh wait, Andrew Luck. That's right.
We can briefly talk about him.
What's that?
We can briefly discuss him if you want.
Okay. All I'm gonna say is that
just so one phrase about him, basically.
One phrase.
The last word on him, basically. What's the last word on Andrew
okay.
Luck?
I don't. Okay, never mind. I'm just gonna say this. Okay. Andrew Luck, I feel bad for the guy, and I'll be honest, the dude's going to be another wasted talent in this league, unless the Colts can turn around immediately.
They butchered his career.
Whoa, Ricky, I disagree.
No.
A wasted talent in the NFL if the Colts don't turn around, fine, then he'll leave.
How the heck? Well, then he has to ask for a trade.
Yeah, they can't just get. He can't
get rid of any team. Any team that has the cap space will trade for him.
No, I know.
Then why don't they do it immediately?
I know, but they have to. But they have to initiate the trade.
That's the thing, and
I don't think they want to trade him.
And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Andrew. I think he's one heck of a quarterback, but at the end of the day. This dude, I feel bad for him because he's going to end up becoming a wasted talent, in my opinion, if the Colts don't give him help. Plain and simple.
And if the Colts don't stop jerking him
I get where you guys are coming from. I believe that the Colts will turn around. They will be a playoff team, but I don't think. Man, it's I think he's been hurt too much, to tell you the truth. Andrew?
This is his first time.
He's had a
he had the lacerated swing, but this is like,
and then he had
he played through it.
And he had shoulders.
But the issue is they keep bringing him back.
I've drafted him as my fantasy. I've drafted him as my fantasy quarterback. I know exactly how many times he's been hurt the past 4 years and haven't been
quarterback. The issue is they keep bringing him back too early. What they should do this season, they should just put him on injured reserve. Let him rest.
They should. I said that too.
But they're not going to do that, though. They're going to bring him back at a certain... I believe they're going to bring him back at a certain point this season.
What you need to do this year, if you're the Colts this year, I think what you need to do is you absolutely need to figure out how to win games without Andrew Luck. Because then guess what? You have the formula of how to do it. Now add an exceptional player
to
that formula.
Brissett's doing that. He's doing that to an extent.
Okay, DJ, I think you just literally missed the point of what I was saying. This is what you need.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm bringing up Jacoby. He's doing that. He's trying to win games.
So you're agreeing with me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. It was weird. He interrupted me to agree with me. Most people don't do that. But
look, sorry to cut you off, but this is something that I think the Colts need to do. They need to get as much pressure off of Andrew Luck. And my personal opinion is that if you're looking, look, Frank Gore's getting older. You have Marlon Mack. He looks solid as a rotational back. Get Saquon Barkley. He would help so much in Indianapolis. It's unbelievable.
There's a terrible offensive line right there. That kid would get eaten up so quickly. He is a great talent, but he's playing against college athletes right now. He's not going to be he's going to be quick. He could be Ezekiel Elliott talent for sure. But again, Ezekiel Elliott came in with one of the best offensive lines in the game. The Indianapolis Colts do not have an offensive line. That's why they have a mobile quarterback in Jacoby Brissett right now.
Did the Kansas City Chiefs have one of the best offensive lines in the game? No. Kareem Hunt's just a beast.
That's why I'm saying that that's why I'm thinking if you give Andrew, look, you got star wide receivers, you have T.Y. Hilton, you have Dante Moncrief, you got all that. I think you just need a successor to Frank Gore. And I think Saquon Barkley fits that. And look at that. Then you're giving Andrew Luck some weapons to work with. And that's something that I think the Colts need to do.
And at this point, it's not like the Colts are going to be – the Colts – I think that Jacoby Brissett is going to be good enough to win them a few games this year, which means that they're not going to be picking in the top 5.
They'll be a top 10 pick.
They might be 6 and 10.
He's a top 10 talent.
He is a top 10 talent.
Alrighty.
And you do need to Frank Gore. It makes sense, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I think we should move on to picks so that we can try to get this done and over with, because I believe Hank wanted to get this done within an hour, if I'm correct.
Yeah, but we're fine. Let's do.
You're good. All right. Alrighty. So you ready for picks?
Yep.
Let's do our picks, man.
Okay. So first, I have to give a status report. So last week, Hank did the best, going 7-7. Me and DJ were tied, going 6-8, and Josh did the worst, going 5-9. Because of Josh going 5-9, that means DJ leapfrogged Josh into third place. Hank has got a game, not a game up on me. I mean, he's now 2 games behind, I believe, instead of 3 games. So here's what it looks like. I'm currently 52-40. Hank's 50-42. Josh is DJ is 43-50, and Josh is 41-52. So let's go on.
Last week was so terrible. Every pick, I was like, I lost that one. Hopefully this one's better.
Okay, so let's begin. Thursday night game tomorrow. Thursday night game tomorrow. It's KC at Oakland. I'm gonna go with
the Chiefs.
I gotta go with Oakland here. I gotta ride this right now and just say, come on, Oakland. This is it. You're not gonna win the AFC West if you don't win this game. You gotta do something.
Especially if you fall 0-3 in the division. That's really tough to come back from.
That's kill, son. So who are you taking, Hank?
Chiefs.
Okay, see?
Give me Big Red the Walrus.
If that happens, someone's getting fired in Oakland. Someone's getting fired. Someone.
And Josh, who are you taking?
Oakland.
Okay, just
See, this is why I'm 41-53 is because dude, I'm a fan of certain teams, and I'll never not be a fan of certain teams. And every week, I want certain teams to win, and they lose.
All right. So next game is New Orleans at Green Bay.
Wait,
Who'd you
Ricky, who'd you pick? You broke up on our side.
Oh, wait. Which game? KC at Oakland?
Yeah, you broke up on my side. So
All right.
I picked Oakland.
Cool.
No. Okay, so New Orleans at Green Bay.
We gotta go.
I'm gonna go with New Orleans.
Yeah, New Orleans.
I have New Orleans too.
They're on a roll.
I'll go New Orleans as well.
Holy crap!
The Saints
Go Pack.
come marching in. The Saints come marching in. All right, next one.
All right, Arizona at LA.
Cardinals
I'm
at
picking
Rams.
Arizona in this one.
Ricky's got the Cardinals.
Oh, the resurgence of AP.
I got the Rams.
Okay.
I think they're gonna stop AP. I think this was one of those games where, the Buccaneers.
It's a trap game.
The Buccaneers ran right, went to Arizona, and AP embarrassed them. But I think that the Rams have a better defense, and they seem to be playing really well at home.
I have to go with this, and I think, like Josh said, they're going to stop AP. I think Todd Gurley's going to go and kill him. It's going to be Rams.
The Rams beat the Jaguars, who were a team that looked like a juggernaut, and we beat them.
Yeah.
So who are you going with?
They don't have matching uniforms. They don't have matching uniforms, but they can still win.
I think they're literally, it's like, if anybody's watched Dragon Ball Z, it's like a reverse Spirit Bomb, and it's like they're trying to make everyone angry with not matching, and they're just forcing that energy onto the field.
Honestly, the Rams need to either pick gold or pick white as being their secondary color.
I think white.
Yeah,
I think
that's what you guys were. Just do it. Do it.
Yeah.
Go back to just the classic colors. You're already trying to get your foot back into LA, so just go with the classics.
Yeah.
And go with the win this weekend against the Cardinals in LA.
Yeah. And
LA.
So everyone's going LA except me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're throwing cards.
Yeah.
That LA is for the Dodgers. Hope they lose tonight. They're actually, real quick update, bottom of the 8th, 2 outs. Cubs are up 3-2.
Watch the Yankees. I'm thinking the Yankees are gonna lose to the Astros. To be honest,
I hope so. They're up 3-2 right now, though.
All right.
Yeah, but okay. Let's continue.
Yeah.
Give me a second. I gotta load. Okay, next game: Carolina at Chicago.
Give me the Bears as an upset pick.
Panthers at Bears.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Bears.
You guys are both going Bears.
I gotta go Panthers.
Not that the
I gotta make
Panthers are a bad team. Just Chicago plays better at home, and the Panthers might be without Luke Kuechly.
They're used to that though now.
I know.
I have the Panthers. Well, Ricky.
Okay,
I have the Panthers.
Gotcha. All right, next game: Tennessee at Garbage Cans, Cleveland.
Oh my god!
Give me Tennessee. I swear to God, if this is the game that Cleveland wins, I'm gonna lose it.
Give me Tennessee. Sorry.
Yeah. TJ?
Give me some Brown action. We're gonna get this one 24-17.
Hoorah!
So that never mind. I was gonna say.
Okay, next one.
Wait, who do you got?
Me?
Yeah.
Titans.
Okay.
I'll just go first. I already have mine written down, so I'll just go first. I don't even have to think about it.
Okay, go ahead.
No, with the next. Oh, okay. Bucks versus Bills.
I
have
Okay. Well, hold up, because the list is giving me something different.
Okay,
New York Jets at Miami.
I'm doing the NFL Network list, but I'm going with the Jets in that game.
Give me the Dolphins.
Give me the Dolphins.
Jets.
Suck. Sorry, I had to do it. All right, so I'm going with Miami. I do that every time, like, because my uncle's a Jets fan, so like he does the stupid chant, and I'm like, and then I'll chime in, I'll be like, they suck. all right. Next game, Tampa Bay at Buffalo. I'm going with Buffalo.
This is one of those 50-50 games for me. They're at Buffalo. Give me Bills.
Jameis Winston is injured. Give me the Bills.
Yeah, Winston didn't practice with a shoulder injury, and the Bills' defense looks tough. Next one.
Baltimore at Minnesota. Give me Minnesota. This isn't even a question.
I think it's gonna be.
It's even a question.
This is
anything but give me Minnesota because they're playing better.
Let me go ahead and get me some Raven action. Ravens over Minnesota.
I already know who Josh is going. He's going with Minnesota, obviously.
He's going Ravens.
Okay. Oh, okay. Final one. What?
Mark me up. Just at the end of the year, add the Ravens totals up and just minus that from whatever win I put out, because I'm always gonna vote for the Ravens. I'm not kind of fan.
All right. The next. Okay, the next
reason we could win the game.
So you're saying there's a chance? All right. Okay, so give me a second. I have to fix something. So in the next game, give me a second. I have to fix that. Okay. Next game, the final 1:00 game is Jacksonville at Indianapolis. Give me Jacksonville.
Some Jacksonville action there. Let's let this gravy train keep rolling.
I have the Jags.
I have the Jags.
Eat. Okay. Now we get into the 4:00 games. The first 4:00 game, I believe it's the Cowboys one. Yeah. The Cowboys one is the first 4:00 game at 4:05 my time. So Dallas at San Francisco. Give me Dallas.
Dallas.
This is tough because I'm gonna have to go with my team, the Niners. They will pull this one out. I know I've said this the past 3 weeks that
they're gonna do it against the Eagles. Chill.
They're gonna do this, man. They're gonna win by 3 points.
I have the 49ers winning this one. Because Dallas has a litany of problems off the field, and it's going to translate this week in San Francisco.
This is going to make the Niners season right here.
Seattle.
Yep.
Well, considering all the Cowboys fans are going to flock to Levi Stadium, and technically it's a home game for not playing. I'm joking.
True, no, it's true. There's a bunch of Cowboys fans out here.
Yeah, but be careful. Levi's is more dangerous than any other stadium.
All right. So Seattle at New York Giants.
Seattle.
I'm taking the Giants.
Oh, so wait, Hank, who are you picking?
Seattle.
Oh, finally. Get off that train. Yeah, let's go with some Seattle action for me, too.
I'm going Seattle as well. They won one game.
That's it.
Why do you think they're going to win this
one? I don't know. It's the gut feeling, and I want to at least get somewhat of an upset. I need my wins. All right, Cincinnati at Pittsburgh.
Oh, this one's a tough one.
Pittsburgh.
They're both... Who's got Pittsburgh?
Me.
I have Pittsburgh.
I think Cincinnati comes out and stuns them.
Jesus.
I have the Bengals winning this one as well.
And I know why you guys are under 500. I'm playing.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. Calm down. Don't get triggered.
So are the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So the Cowboys. Ah!
We have currently in this season we have more wins than the Browns have had in the past too. So,
Yeah, you also have the same amount of running backs who are suspended.
Okay. All right. Denver at LA Chargers.
Chargers.
I'm gonna take the Chargers.
Give me Denver.
I'm gonna take.
Don't read my picks. That's what throws you off.
No, I'm not. I'm thinking between here. The Broncos or the Chargers. Where's this?
Hank, who'd you go
Is
with?
this at the Chargers Stadium?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, I have to go with the Chargers here.
Hank, who'd you go with?
The Chargers.
Do you think the Chargers are a team on the rise?
No, I just think that I think that they're catching the Broncos on a weak point, on a slump.
All right.
Josh.
Oh, I have the Chargers winning this one.
Okay. All right. Sunday Night Football. Probably my personal game of the week. Atlanta at New England. This is weird because, like, you have the Patriots that are looking uncharacteristically mortal to a T, and then on the other side you have an Atlanta team that's looking like they should be 1-4. So I'm gonna say Atlanta returns the favor to New England and blows a 23. No, I'm kidding. They're gonna win this game, Atlanta, in my opinion.
Okay.
New England.
I got to go with New England here. I think Tom Brady's found a little bit of a Chris Hogan love affair, especially with Gronk. I think they're starting to light it up. I think that offense is going to make that defense look a lot better.
When we did the divisional roundup at the beginning of the season, I had the Falcons actually beating the Patriots in this game, so I'm sticking with that thought. I got the
Okay.
Falcons.
In the Monday Night Football game, the game that it's going to be an interesting one. Washington at Philly.
Oh.
I'm gonna. This is weird because it's like something is telling me. Something is saying Philly is not going to win this game, but I'm gonna go ahead and pick Philly anyway.
All I can say.
I felt this. Oh, wait, go Hank. Hank, it's your team. Go.
So I picked the Eagles to win this game before the season even started, so I'm going to pick them. All I can say is they better not ruin David Akers.
Oh my God, that's right. That's right. They have the Hall of Fame induction on Monday for David Akers, and it's been it's historic that they've lost every single game.
No,
right?
They didn't lose Dawkins, they didn't lose McNabb, and they didn't lose Trotter.
All right, whatever.
That's
they're gonna lose.
A rumor.
I think that this is the game that the Eagles are going to lose. This is going to show. This is if they end up winning this game and Carson Wentz gets them to 6-1, they're for real. This is the game that proves it in front of everybody. Monday Night Football.
So who are you picking?
I picked the Redskins.
Jeez, that was
he's talking about Carson Wentz going 6-1, but he's like, I'm picking
the Redskins. If Carson, I am picking. Shut up. I'm picking the Redskins, but if Carson Wentz wins this game, no, then he's for real.
Then he's the winner. Flawless logic.
But then they lose to the 49ers.
Ricky, who do you have? You said you have the Eagles?
Yeah, I got the Eagles.
I actually wrote down Redskins earlier, and then I erased it because I believe in Hank
It's a tie.
All right, guys, I think that's going to wrap it up for us. That's another episode here in the books, unless you guys got something.
No,
all I'm gonna say is that don't mess this up, Dallas, because the last thing you want to do is put the whole fan base on suicide watch. I'm just kidding, but in all seriousness though, I'm hoping for a good week of football. I think last week was really good.
It was good. Actually, it was a really good. Ricky, do you watch all the games? Or are you one of those people who just watches one game at a time?
No. Well, I had the red zone on, but I personally if I see if I see a game becoming interesting, I'll look up the live stream for it and I'll actually watch it.
And how many times do you look over at the Browns game?
I think I've only seen the Pittsburgh one and the Colts one. Outside of that, I was like, I'm just like after a certain point, I'm like the Browns suck. I'm just gonna turn the TV on.
I have a Browns TV on. It's so funny. They always and I don't mean to sound rude, DJ, but they put the Browns TV on the small corner TV. But it's because it's the closest TV to my big Ravens TV. And I always ask for the Browns game, so he puts it on the corner one, so no one complains that it's on a big one.
No. But I really think I feel. Oh my god! If you go to a sports bar and be like, "Oh, can you put on the Browns game?" You're the first one to request. Be like, "Oh, sure." And then people are like, "Who in God's name's a Browns fan?" And
they call you out as, "Who wants this game?"
That's how I was with the Ravens and the Pittsburgh.
Super Bowl one year, maybe never, but
Well, I mean, technically they did with the Ravens, but
oh my god!
Stop!
Don't, dude. That is a hot button.
Does that mean Peyton Manning's ring should? Does that mean the Super Bowl that the Colts won should actually be Baltimore's? I don't think like that. It's not.
No, they're different teams. I'm being sarcastic, obviously.
As you can, time out before we get super into it. As you can see, here's the two different reactions to a team leaving a city. One where it's okay, and the other where it's absolutely not. So I think we're going to sign off on that before you guys hear.
I'll sign off on this. Cleveland. All Cleveland has to do is leave, and they'll be fine. No,
if they brought the name, it would have been fine because DJ could have gotten a new team and he wouldn't have been the old Browns.
The Cleveland Beiges. The Cleveland Beiges instead of Cleveland Browns.
All right, guys.
All right, we gotta sign off. All right.
This is great.
Bye, guys.
It's time to sign off, and I hope
catch you guys later.
everyone
Bye.
has a good night. Peace.
Yeah.